Hi guys, welcome back to our channel, the number one place for people who love design, art and all things creative. It's Jacqueline here and this is part 2 in our design travel series. In May we went to Cambridge for a few days for Laszlo's birthday and we thought we'd show you what we got up to in a vlog style video, but also touch on the interesting design elements we saw there too. I've only been once before and Laszlo's never been, so we thought it was the perfect opportunity to explore the classic English city. It was just under an hour train journey for us to Cambridge, and if you're thinking of going there for a day trip from London, it's more than doable. The city is very walkable or perfect for those of you who like to cycle. This city is for you. Around a third of all trips in the city are made by bike, and trust me when I say that they take it very seriously there. Make sure to be careful when crossing the roads. The city is split between a historic district and a more modern one, but to be honest with you, we only had time to search the historic part, and from what I remember, the other part is just a high street shopping district anyway. It wouldn't be right if I didn't mention the main reason why people all around the world know this city, and that is of course the preeminent University of Cambridge. The institution has 25,000 students and is the world's third oldest surviving university, just beaten by Oxford and Bologna. Oops! And for those who don't know, there is a historic rivalry between the two universities. Whilst I was there, I learned that there is actually no definitive architectural style in Cambridge, and that's because of its geographical location. The area is very flat and building materials are hard to source, which is why materials from all around the UK have been transported there over centuries to form a mosaic of different architectural styles and textures. And I kind of love that all of the buildings had an ancient aesthetic, but they were also unique from one another as they were built in different time periods, which is very apparent when you walk down a street like this one, for example. And really, that was my key takeaway from the city. It's almost like stepping back in time and walking through different eras as you walk along one street, like nowhere I've really been before. The name Cambridge actually originates from the river that surrounds it, the River Cam, and all of the bridges that connect both sides of the city. Like many university towns and cities, there is so much vibrant student life and trendy bars and shops to accommodate the student population, so in a way there is a new vibe, but there is just no denying that the city has an old soul. On many of the buildings that we passed, there are these blue historic plaques to mark a significant building, English heritage plaques to commemorate suffragette Millicent Fawcett, Crick and Watson who discovered the helical structure of DNA, and Bob Edwards who pioneered the first IVF treatment, and those are just to name a few of the plaques dotted around the town. It's as though you can feel the regal and scholarly presence of notable alumni who used to walk the same exact streets. Historically, it was the Romans who built the first settlement there, taking advantage of a crossing point between riverbanks. After the Romans, there was the Saxon settlement, with the Normans following on and building a castle. And then the Georgian period, Victorians, Edwardian, and so on. You get the idea. The tightly packed city centre is perfect for exploring ancient colleges, cobbled streets, and the picturesque backs along the River Cam. One of the buildings that intrigued us was the Fitzwilliam Museum. In Cambridge, I kid you not, there is a museum for just about everything, but we actually decided to check this one out for the building too. Founded in 1816, the museum houses a collection of over 500,000 pieces of art and antiquities. Because Cambridge is a relatively small city, I thought that the museum would also reflect that, but this was actually like a museum you'd find in London. It was massive, and we definitely underestimated how long we would be spending there. One of the main parts of the museum is situated in the Founders Building, which was built in 1843 and designed by architects George Basavy and C.R. Cockerell. And in 1875, the Palladian entrance hall designed by Edward Barry was completed. The neoclassical building is just as much as interesting as the artifacts inside, in my opinion. Lavish bright colours are seen throughout the interior, and the rich and colourful mosaic floors add to the drama of the entrance hall. The central dome above was one of my favourite features. It's supported on the heads of bearded and muscular male herms with gilded laurel wreaths. The gilding was so elaborate and the skylights lit up the gold leafwork beautifully. Whilst we were also there, we of course had to partake in a classic Cantabrigian tradition, punting. Punting is basically like the gondolas in Venice, just to give you an idea. And you can book a guided tour along the river or hire one yourself, if you're brave enough that is. Like I already mentioned, Cambridge is engulfed by the River Cam, and it's become a tradition to punt along the backs of the river. The backs, quite simply put, is the river that hides behind the backs of the colleges. So when you're walking in the city centre, all of the river is hidden by the ornately detailed college buildings. In its current iteration, the university is made up of 31 colleges: King's College, Clare College, Trinity and Corpus Christi, just to name a few. The colleges are all part of the same university, Cambridge that is, and they provide the base for all your studies and accommodation. In the most obvious comparison, yes, like the houses in Harry Potter, except there are 31 of them. There are 7 Cambridge University colleges situated along the backs, going from south to north: Queen's College, King's College, Clare College, Trinity Hall, Trinity College, St John's College and Magdalen College. This was one of the highlights of our trip to me because I really didn't have high expectations, but it was so tranquil and going under each of the ancient bridges was spectacular. The Bridge of Sighs is probably the most famous, and you can see why. Built nearly 200 years ago, the Victorian Gothic bridge links St John's College with its student accommodation. Designed by Henry Hutchinson in 1827, it's a star destination within the city, and I definitely urge you to see it if you're there. Also, each college along the backs was built in different time periods, which is really fascinating because no two buildings look the same. For example, the Fellows Building, which is in a Regency style, that sits right next to the perpendicular Gothic King's College Chapel. Also, shout out to Scudamores for our amazing tour along the peaceful riverbanks. On our second day of our trip, we explored the University Botanic Garden, which is a collection of over 8,000 plant species, and the university uses it as a teaching and research centre for botany. Laszlo and myself both love gardening, Laszlo in particular, and we both love parks, so this felt like the perfect excursion. The indoor collection of plants is housed in one of the glass houses found there. Showcasing 7 different biomes from around the world, the glass house has become a piece of architecture that symbolises the garden. From delicate orchids to tropical trees, the glass house is home to 2,000 plants. A range of these glass houses were built in the 1800s and have since allowed for the preservation of exotic plants, allowing students to widen their knowledge of plant sciences. This is a real oasis in the heart of the city. If you're a garden enthusiast or just like chilling in the park, then I highly recommend giving the Botanic Gardens a visit. I would definitely go back there and just spend a lot longer there exploring the park and relaxing on the green, because you can spend hours here, trust me. If you have any questions about visiting Cambridge, leave a comment below and I'll help you as best I can. I hope you enjoyed our design travel vlog, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!